insulated pipe. So this is equipment designed and manufactured, fabricated by one of our earlier batch students as part of a project. But we are using to demonstrate or experiment. So here, this equipment has got a concentric pipe here. There are three concentric pipes kept one inside the other. So the innermost pipe, the diameter of the dia of the innermost pipe is 0.06 meters. Next is 0.8. The diameter is 0.085 meters, and the outermost pipe dia is this dia is 1.07. So between the inner pipe and middle pipe, insulating material, one kind of insulating material is provided, and similarly between the middle pipe and the outermost pipe, some other kind of insulating material is provided. And in the innermost pipe, in the innermost pipe, heater is provided. Heater is provided at the center of the innermost pipe. Between inner pipe and middle pipe, one insulation asbestos, and the next pipe, cork is provided as an insulator. Okay, asbestos and sawdust. One and between the inner and middle, the insulating material is asbestos powder, and between middle and the outer, it is sawdust. That is the insulating material. So in the metal rod, you have seen that what is the formula you have used. It is like a heat is flowing through a slab. So you can use the formula, that is 2 pi Ka dt by dx, where A is the cross sectional area, whereas here it is a pipe, cylindrical pipe. Then we have to make use of the formula is Q is, please recall how to find out the heat transfer through a slab, through a cylinder, and through a sphere when you are learning the heat transfer subject. So because now in this case heat is getting transferred through the outer surface area of the tube, the formula what you need to use is Q is equal to 2 pi KL delta T, 2 pi L delta T divided by log R2 by R1. That is the formula which you need to use. Q is equal to 2 pi K L delta T divided by log of Rm by R1. That gives the insulation for the material placed between first cylinder and second cylinder. Similarly, if I want to find out K for the second cylinder, for the second material, K2, that is again 2 pi Q is equal to same Q is equal to 2 pi K L length of the pipe divided by log of Rm by log of R3 by Rm, where R3 is the radius of the outer pipe, Rm is the radius of the middle pipe. So here I have got a voltmeter and here is an ammeter. So right now the setting is for 54 is the voltage and 0.23 is the current. So product of these two gives me the power input to the system. Okay. So now I got a knob here. I can measure 6 temperatures: T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, T6. T1 and T2 are the temperature thermocouples placed on the innermost cylinder, and 3 and 4 are on the middle cylinder, and 5 and 6 are thermocouple kept on the outermost cylinder. Okay. And here there is a knob here. By altering this knob, let us say see, I changed this knob. So when I change this knob, the voltage reading is, the power input reading is changing. So now let us again readjust to the same setting, that is 55. So readjusted to same setting, 55 reading. So product of these two gives me the input Q. Now I take temperature readings for every stopwatch is going. So I will take the temperature readings, that is T1, T2, T6. This two voltage and the current, I keep it constant. Note it down as voltage. It is 0.555, and the voltage and current is 0.25. Now, now I take the temperature readings. T1 is, that is 112, and T2 is 106. I switch on the timer and I am taking the first set of reading. This is T3, 0.36, 0.33, 33 degrees, and this is 26. So because there is an insulator in between, the temperature of the outermost will be less when compared to innermost where the heater is provided. 29. So I will wait for 1 minute, and again I will take second set of reading. As I explained earlier, all of your heat transfer readings, you have to consider only the steady state reading. Means this particular reading T1 should not change with respect to time. Earlier, what is the reading that you got? So now it is T1 is 121. So the same 121 should stay as it is for a sufficient period of time. Only then I can the steady state is ensured. Otherwise, steady state is not ensured. So you have to consider steady state. So let us say T1 is 123, T2 114, this is 38, 35, 27, and this is 26. Second set of reading. Earlier we remember it as T1 as 121. Let us see whether it is 121 only. Now let us wait for 3 minutes. And notice what is the change. Now it is 2 minutes. Let us take the readings for the third minute, and we will see what is the change. If there is no change, that indicates we have attained a steady state. Now it is 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes. It is reading 130. Let us see what is the reading at 3 minutes. So change is for 30 seconds. It is only 2 degrees. Let us assume this to be a steady state. Let us take the final steady state reading, that is 132. It is 123, T2, 40, 37, 27 and 26. Okay. So now I am bringing the voltage to the 0 setting. I can switch off. Now I have to find out from this experiment the thermal conductivity of the asbestos powder and the asbestos and the sawdust. The formula what we can use is Q is equal to 2 pi KL delta T divided by log of Rm by R1 gives me the K for asbestos. Similarly, same Q, that is V into I, that is also equal to 2 pi K2 L delta T divided by log of R3 by R2, Rm. R3 is the dia of the outer pipe, Rm is the dia of the inner pipe. So from that I can find out, because everything is known, Q is known, length I know, diameters are known, only unknown is K2, which can be found from the formula, right?